90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After tell all with Jasmine and Matt, who now seems like he's regretting all his life choices. And then we have Gino off to the side. So Jasmine and Matt were fighting in front of the tell all house because Jasmine became very upset after she heard Matt say that this relationship has an expiration date because Matt has been letting all these other guys at the tell all put a battery pack on him, and now all of a sudden he's starting to see things differently with Jasmine. Before, he didn't really care. As long as he got his dick wet a few times a week, he was happy. But now he's kind of starting to second guess what Jasmine's true intentions really are because everybody's been in his ear this whole time at the house, and nobody has really had anything good to say about Jasmine to his face. Jasmine said she suddenly wanted to go to a hotel and she went outside with all her stuff. And Matt followed her outside and they're going back and forth because she was upset about the expiration date and how this just suddenly came out of nowhere. And then Gino's messy ass walks outside and he just stands right next to them. He's had no problem just walking right into the fire. And he's just standing there awkwardly, like making eye contact with both of them. And finally, Jasmine was like, "What do you want, Gino?" Gino was just like sitting there soaking it all in. You could kind of tell that he was getting a sense of satisfaction out of the fact that he was seeing Jasmine and Matt fight and Matt go through similar things that he went through. And he looked so relieved to just be able to sit there and be around Jasmine without getting yelled at for 5 minutes. And then he asked Jasmine, "What are you guys fighting about?" Gino wanted the tea, and she was like, "No, I'm not going to give you that because I know that you are getting off on the fact that I'm miserable right now." And then she told Gino to go inside because it was cold, and you could just tell from Matt's body language that he was over this whole conversation between Jasmine and Gino. And then when she told Gino to go inside, Gino was like, "No, I'm not really cold." And then Jasmine just started laughing. She's like, "Yeah, of course, because Michigan's cold, so this is nothing to you." And she starts joking around with him, and she had this huge, big, cheesy smile that we haven't seen from her since like the beginning of when she was first talking to Matt. Jasmine's like smiling, giggling, almost like flirting with Gino. And Matt's like, "Okay, I'm not gonna just stand here like I don't freaking exist." And he said, "Why are you guys getting along all of a sudden?" And sitting here smiling, joking around. And I think Jasmine honestly loves rubbing that into Matt's face and kind of rubbing Matt in Gino's face. She just kind of likes putting people against each other because it kind of, I think she feeds off that. And then after she realized that Gino wasn't going to walk off, Matt was like, "Okay, you can have her, Gino. We can just, share her. We can have like custody, shared custody of her. I'll drop her off on the weekends." Kind of like how the agreement initially was supposed to go, but Matt was supposed to be the side dude. It seems like he's perfectly fine going back to that because he's sick and tired of Jasmine's bullshit. I'm glad that it's finally unfolding that Matt and Jasmine's relationship sounds almost as toxic as Gino and Jasmine's relationship, and they fight just as much, it sounds like. Hell, I wouldn't be shocked if Jasmine acts even crazier and more jealous with Matt just because he's younger. He probably goes out more. He probably has more of a social life than Gino. And she said before that he just has too much charm and he's too friendly. And you can tell that Jasmine probably goes crazy behind closed doors on him. Then we see Jasmine sit down with Julia, and she's like, "Yeah, so I thought that Matt was my person, but I found out something from his mama that made me see him in a different way." So I thought she was going to say, like, "Oh, Matt's a serial cheater," or Matt, got with this girl and had a baby and just abandoned them, or something crazy. And what she did share was very upsetting to Jasmine. She said that she has a Romanian girl on standby for Matt, who's more probably Matt's idea of a woman for Matt. She probably doesn't do OF. She probably doesn't act all crazy on reality TV. She's probably religious. She's Romanian. It sounds like she checks all the boxes that Jasmine doesn't. And the mom said, "Hey, if you're just going to not know what you're gonna do with Matt, then Matt has another Romanian woman that I'd like to hook him up with. And I think that's just his mom seeing that there may not be a future with this, or not feeling too confident in Jasmine's marriage. So she's trying to push him into something more stable. Then we see Matt, and he's in the house, and he's asking all the boys, should I continue working on things with Jasmine? And everybody told him, hell no. You need to give up and run now. She's never going to change. She's a narcissist. And this just put a battery pack in Matt's back and made him realize, okay, is this what I really want? Like, it seems like for the longest, he was a simple man, and he was fine just getting his few nuts a week with Jasmine. I mean, we literally saw him on the show where he said he's fine doing this as long as possible. They're roommates, he can have sex when he wants, and he was being perfectly content. But now he's like, no, I'm too good for this. He doesn't want to throw away his prime years with someone who's unsure about him. And I don't think Jasmine wants to have a future with him. I just think she's using him like as an emergency option right now because she doesn't have a license. So she needs someone to drive her around. She needs someone to, I don't know if she can get a place by herself yet. I mean, I'm assuming she could, but if not, I think she uses Matt as just pretty much like a person to help her. Like, you know, someone who usually would call up their mom or a family member to help them fix something around the house or give them a ride. Matt's that person for her, like a built-in family member since he's her baby daddy, and I think that's all she wants from. Then Jasmine went and sat down with Yara, and she was really upset. She was telling Yara, you know, screw Matt. I'm pretty sure he was sleeping with this girl, Elizabeth, this Romanian girl that his mom was telling me that she wanted to hook him up with. Because, you know, us girls, we can tell when there's more to the story. And Jasmine could tell the way that Matt's mom was talking about this Elizabeth girl, that her and Matt had to be something more than just acquaintances. So Jasmine got heated, and she's like, I know he screwed this girl. And I'm like, okay, I feel like this is just Jasmine deflecting. She doesn't want to look bad in the tell-all, so she's throwing Matt under the bus. But next thing you know, she goes outside with Matt, and she's like, Matt, I need you to tell me everything. And he's like, what are we doing? Oh, we're going in circles again. She's like, no, I need you to tell me what happened with Elizabeth. He's like, we were friends. You know, we talked for a few months. And she's like, well, did you guys hook up? And at first he's like, no. But then eventually he did admit, I don't know. And it's like, okay, if you don't know, then obviously you did. Because there would be a for sure no if you guys did not hook up. And she knew as soon as he said that. She's like, okay, so you were messing around with this girl at the same time as me. And he's like, I don't know. And she's like, well, that was the big rule coming into this, that you were single. But yes, I do remember they made the agreement that he was single, but he's hooking up with someone else. I don't know why that would be like a big deal. Like, yeah, he wasn't dating anyone else, but at the time, Jasmine was still, I mean, she wasn't hooking up with Gino still, but if he would have let her, she would have. At first, he was banging this other girl and Jasmine for the first 2 weeks that they're in this open relationship. But at the time, I mean, Jasmine was still with Gino, and she acted like she didn't want no future with man, and this wasn't serious. So, I mean, you can't really blame him for not wanting to at least like look around. I mean, he may be single, but I mean, he can always look for the next person. I don't remember that being part of the contract. But regardless, I kind of just feel like Jasmine's looking for something to be mad about. It sounds like as soon as Matt knew that things weren't going to work out with Gino and Jasmine, he cut things off with that girl. And yes, he should have been honest with Jasmine from the front, but I don't think it's as big of a deal as she's making it out to be. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. But she said that she will never marry him now, and she just acts like she's completely devastated now. And next thing you know, she goes outside with Gino and talks to Gino and has a little chat. And you know, they just went in circles like they always did. Gino was like, yeah, you made your bed, now you gotta lay in it. I don't want to ever see you again. You could tell that Gino didn't even want to be there. Like, you can tell that the producers are agging Gino to go outside and talk to Jasmine just to get these awkward interactions and moments. Gino said, I know you never loved me. I don't want to hear it. You just used me. And then while they were talking, Matt was inside talking with the boys, and the boys were just telling him how much of a dumbass he was for being with Jasmine. And then Jovi started convincing Matt that the baby may not even be his. He's like, yo, you need to get a paternity test. She was messing with that dude Dane when she lived in Brazil. She was with him before Gino. A lot of people speculated she was messing with him while she was with Gino. I mean, just the way that she interacted with him, it definitely gave off flirty and like they were actively banging. And they're like, yeah, so what do you know about Dane? And he's like, well, I did hear that he moved to New York, and Jasmine's gone to New York several times to do like little press runs, and she went up there by herself. So now he's starting to think maybe she hooked up with Dane. And all the boys were like, yeah, maybe that's Dane's baby. And now Matt's second guessing everything. He's second guessing what he's got going on with Jasmine. He's second guessing if this baby's his. He don't know what to do. But I mean, it's always safe to get a paternity test. It's better to be safe than sorry. But it's so obvious this is Matt's baby. That's literally his mini-me. That baby is literally a copy and paste of his face. I think Matt just knows, like, Jasmine snuck around with him while she was with Gino before Gino knew about it, before he agreed to the open marriage. Like, Gino revealed that they went to Disneyland. Like, she said she had to go to Florida to go on this trip for work, so she had to go by herself when she was with Gino. But come to find out, she just went down there with Matt and got a hotel and went to Disneyland, and she was down there for like 4 days with Matt, and then people caught them in the wild and took pictures at Disneyland. And I think Matt's like, okay, she's willing to sneak around and cheat on Gino with me, then who's to tell that she's not doing that with me right now? Then Matt decided to walk outside because Gino and Jasmine were just outside way too long talking. And right when he walks up to Jasmine telling Gino, I love you so much. I'll never love anybody like you. I never want to get married again. And Matt walks up and he's like, okay, then what the hell are we doing? And he's like, okay, Jasmine, you can either stay here with him and go back home to Michigan with him, or you can come with me. And then Jasmine got up real quick, and Gino and Jasmine are hoping this is the last time they see each other. I hope this is the last time they see each other, but you know TLC is probably going to keep forcing them to meet up and have interactions. Like, Gino's supposed to be coming on 90 Day to Single Life, and I really hope they don't try to drag Jasmine into his storyline at all, because we don't need this anymore. Everything with Gino and Jasmine is just repetitive at this point, and I'm so over it. I mean, I would be interested to see what does end up happening with Jasmine and Matt. They ended up getting in the car together, and Jasmine was like, I just don't know what to do with you because you were bringing this other girl. And then Matt said, well, I don't know what to do with you. Is the baby even mine? And Jasmine was like, what the F did you just say? And he's like, is the baby even mine? I'm going to look so freaking stupid if the baby's not even mine. And you can tell that he's really hurting deep down. You know, they need to get his mama on a pillow talk, because I want to hear what his mom thinks, like, watching all these episodes back and seeing the drama that they go through. Because, like, how much of a Jesus-loving freak she is, I'm sure she's definitely shaking her head at some of their scenes. But that's pretty much it, guys. And then we saw Gino, and he pulled out the pair of panties that Jasmine left in his suitcase, and you can tell he's a little excited. You can tell he's gonna do some things to those panties, and he's thinking that Jasmine's like giving him like mixed signals, like, hey, I still want you, by leaving her panties. But he has no idea that she spilled alcohol and rubbed her panty must all over his suitcase. And then he tries to do like a little show and show off the panties, and he smells them. As soon as he smelled them, he flung them across the freaking room because he said they smell all musty and shit. And he was shocked at the smell. It sounds like she was probably wearing them all day, traveling, and they had been through some things. And I mean, Gino seems like a little freak. He likes being peed on. So if those panties were too much for him, then you had to tell that they probably smelled pretty strong. But that's it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think.